Tonight we're playing Age of Worms. But before I let Patrick take it away, in the doobly-doo down below, please see our sister shows as well as the Discord for the Heroes Wanted collective of shows. But without further ado, take it away, Patrick.
Thank you, Stephanie. Welcome, everyone, to what is going to be the official start of the Age of Worms campaign, the Whispering Cairn. Joining me tonight are...
Hi, I'm Ian, and I'll be playing Seymour. In today's top story, Grackle defeated, Party gets a new headquarters.
I am Brendan, and I'll be playing Greypaw, the human bar fighter. Ian. Yeah.
Fighter Ian.
Fightarian.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris. I'll be playing Maximilian T. Justice, Paladin, Dragonborn, and all-around swell fellow.
Hi everyone, I'm Tara, and I am playing the not-so-swell fellow, Chirrup, the Kenku bard with the aspirations of becoming an assassin.
Hello, Nabil here. I'll be playing as Haboob of the Red Sands, a Tabaxi hero, and this Tabaxi enjoys much in bathing himself in the blood of his enemy.
And hello everyone, I'm Lorne, and I will be playing Dr. Eisen. I am a very well-to-do alchemist on her way to new discoveries and new inventions.
Hello, I'm Stephanie, and I'm playing Molly Goldman, socialist cleric and girl reporter.
And last session, the party tracking down the thief, the Grackle, broke into his room at the Sand Crab Inn and Tavern. But instead, they found a young woman named Cammy, a wannabe bounty hunter. And as well, you found a flump. But unfortunately, in the struggle, the flump was killed by Cammy. And inside the room, you also found a crate with 3 of the missing books from Alliston that you had been asked to find. From the telepathic pleas of the flump before dying, Haboob learned that this flump, in fact, needed help rescuing its family. And the owner of the Sand Crab told you that the person who was renting that room, who did not meet the description of the Grackle, met with the first mate of a ship out in the harbor called the Angelina a few days ago, and that it was set to leave in just over an hour as the tide went out. So, stealing a skiff, you made your way out to the Angelina, bluffed your way aboard, and then Max broke down and told the truth of your visit. The first mate, Dusky, offered to show you below deck, but Seymour spotted a furtive sailor sneaking out of a hatch at the front of the boat and slicing one of the guidelines. And you realized the Grackle at some point had set the anchor free and was now trying to flee in the confusion caused by that. And once again, the stench of flumps erupted from below deck. During this, Dusky and half the crew attempted a mutiny, taking advantage of the chaos, and a pitched battle above and below decks took place, including Greypaw leaping overboard, Max and Haboob being cut down, but it ended with Dr. Eisen shooting the Grackle off of the yard arm as he was making an attempt to escape, and he fell to his death. With that, you learned from the 4 flumps that you ended up rescuing from the hold that the Grackle had in fact kidnapped them out of a salt mine somewhere, and that Dusky had allowed him to stow away. The captain was unaware, and so with that, you brought Dusky back to the port, and Max is going to bring him to the garrison for smuggling and kidnapping. Making your way back into the town of Diamond Lake proper as evening is starting to fall and Chirrup has to get back to the Emporium to start performing for the regulars and other visitors. The group, makes its way past the flop house that is still somewhat in disrepair after a fire the previous 10-day. You make your way past the Hungry Gar, a restaurant that thinks it serves decent food but really doesn't. And the smells coming from it are not unpleasant, but certainly not something that makes all of you desperate to head in. You pass the general store where you see Tagan starting to bring some goods back in, some of the mining lamp helmets and other items, and covering up the bird cages outside. So the tweeting of the birds as you make your way back into town gets sort of silenced as he's buffering in. Because once you make your way into the main square of Diamond Lake, this is where all of the miners and general riffraff descend to upon nightfall. There is the Emporium, which is the freak show that employs a variety of performers. Upstairs is, in fact, the Veiled Corridor, which is the well-to-do gambling casino and den of iniquity. Across the way, there is the Temple of Whore, and you can hear the firebrand priest there, Priest Wirus, known for whipping himself and his followers up into a frenzy.
Wait, the Temple of what is across from the whorehouse?
Whore, Hoar. And the Emporium isn't the whorehouse. The whorehouse is the Midnight Salute, which is up over here.
Ah, okay.
The Emporium, no, it's a freak show, gambling, and opium den, though you can pretty much have whatever you want in the Veiled Corridor upstairs in the Emporium. That is where the well-to-do of the city spend their coin.
One of my what's the word? Fuck,
Lackeys?
I completely forgot the word for one of my informants is there. It's the psychic chicken.
And I will run you through sort of the overnight as you spend your time here. So, Chirrup, you head into the Emporium. You are, sort of hustled in by the, regular man at the front counter who, lets you know that, you're almost a little bit late, but, and, a couple of people sort of turn up their nose as all of you still have Oda Flumph coming off of you, though the combustible magician Arello Clint will prestidigitate you clean, Chirrup, so you are able to set up and start performing for
Hang
the
on, guys, I
crowds.
can't even hear you.
Excellent.
As the crowds start coming in to see the two-headed calf, Esmeralda, the contortionist, and yourself. After a certain point, you, over the smell of everything else, smell the overwhelming smell of Balabar Smenk, one of the mine owners, known for wearing far, far too much cologne and a very unique scent that he has made for himself as he sweeps up with a retinue of people up to the Veiled Corridor. And the rest of you, as you drop off the body of the Grackle to the sheriff, there's a couple of angry and surly sheriff's deputies that sort of greet you, letting you know that Sheriff Cubbin is out for the evening, but Deputy Jameis, sort of a balding, 6'3", very burly deputy, will grumpily say that they wanted the Grackle alive. So bringing him in dead will only be half the reward, which is 25 gold pieces.
Can I
Wait.
try and we tried to bring him in alive, and unfortunately, fate had other options. But if we could have, he would be alive, so we should get full pay. Persuasion.
No,
Also,
he's dead. We asked for him alive.
Wait, didn't we cast Spare the Dying on him?
I tried to. They wouldn't
Nope.
let me.
He was very dead.
Oh, okay.
He was extremely dead. Now, is that what the wanted poster says?
The wanted poster said he was to be brought in for questioning to the sheriff.
Right, okay.
It said nothing about dead or alive. It just said
Well,
bring him
he-
in.
He
Yeah,
can still
yeah.
be questioned by magic, right?
Not
He
high
could
enough
be,
level.
and
Our level.
the rest of the cost for that will be coming out of your reward.
And we
But-
can't weekend at Bernie's this, right?
That is correct.
Like I go in with the hat of disguise, get put in the cell, and then they sneak in at night, and we change it with the body, so it looks like he died in the cell in the middle of the night.
Yes, he looks like he
Do
died
you
from
want
falling.
to? Yeah. Do you want to try such a thing,
I
knowing
mean,
that
No,
the
we're not
sheriff's inside the sheriff's office are where the deputies live, and there is a large jail cell set up. But yeah, it would take a great amount of work to pull such shenanigans off.
Yeah, I figured. All right. No, we're not going to try that.
And besides, you and Molly need to basically spend most of the rest of the evening working late getting the news of the Grackle's capture out for the people.
I was in the middle
Capture.
of writing the copy before this, so could actually have the paper ready, and the baby started crying.
Yeah,
Capture.
quote unquote capture.
Hey, we got him, didn't we?
We did. We captured him.
Yeah. Max, you will be bringing Dusky up to the garrison where he will be tried for smuggling. Again, the Oda Flumph, you are sent out to the back for a bath and cleaning, and all of that will be taken care of.
Oh, do the flumps come with us to the press? Because we had suggested that they could come work from us. Especially
They
when we get the
go
new house.
with Ison for the evening because he wanted to get them to his lab so he could attempt. She could attempt to work on a solvent to remove the smell of flump from people, but B, also potentially try and come up with some sort of version of a stink bomb.
Sweet.
All right, stinking cloud.
So as that begins, Lauren, please roll me a straight intelligence check at this point, since you don't have your full alchemist's kit or tools yet. But I want you to start your preparations for this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you collect some of the sort of acidic spray from them, but are unable to get much of an understanding of it now. You will need your full alchemist kit to get everything going. Greypaw, you really angry and upset with yourself at continually being unable to grapple and grab and fight people properly, decide to take it out on some of the poor fools in the basement of the Feral Dog. You go down and start laying some wages on yourself and spend the evening fighting.
Do I make some gold off of that?
Let's find out. With that, you can give me, to start with, a strength athletics check.
Can I be raging?
You can.
I would like to rage.
All right. And I've already pre-rolled the DCs for this, so the first DC is 14. You successfully win your first bout. Second one is a dexterity acrobatics check, please.
10.
Unfortunately, you lose your second bout to a much sort of faster, quicker one who basically keeps you on the ground and tied up. Your last one is a constitution check that has a bonus equal to a roll of the character's largest hit die. Or you can choose to replace it with one of your with an attack roll of one of your weapons.
Well, I've already done the hit dice, but I definitely would have done the attack roll because that's a d20.
Oh, well, no, it's a constitution check plus the roll of your hit dice.
Yeah, but... Oh, okay, I see. So then I add Constitution? It's an 11. Ugh.
Ooh.
The dice do not like Grey Paw.
They do not. Yeah, you have a rough night down in the basement of the Feral Dog. The last person you fight is this big blonde man named Auric, who introduces himself as a champion from the free... from Waterdeep, not the free city of Greyhawk. I am not playing in those realms tonight. And that he, has been telling tales all night about how he is one of the people who is here to explore the Sturge Nest Cairn, and he and his partners will, come away with some coin. Lastly, that brings us to Haboob. And you are, drinking in the front of the Feral Dog when, you are slipped under your drink, just a little note telling you to meet your contact, Montaron, in the room in the back of the building. And so as you make your way around and into the back door, into the small room with, a table and a couple of chairs set up, he gestures for you to sit. And this grumpy halfling, sort of pours himself a drink and gestures for a second and just says, wait, we're waiting for one more person. And after a couple of seconds, coming in through the back door is Chirrup. And so the two of you sort of look at each other, look at Montaron, who shrugs at you and just says, you are two of many that I sent out on this job. But the Grackle is dead. I hear it was your group that led to his demise. What happened?
Chirrup will mime falling down from a great height. You'll like jump up on the table, do like the whole like swashbuckling thing, just like and like fall off the table.
Do you do the whistling fall with a thud?
Yes,
Do you do the sound of a horrible crack of a spine snapping?
yes, all of that.
That's a long way to fall.
That's a long way. Yes, we were. That is pretty much how it went.
So that is what I took from seeing the body in the sheriff's office. But I also saw a little message you scratched into it, Haboob, claiming you killed him.
Chirrup's going to look at Haboob at that.
I avoid any kind of visual contact with Chirrup, and I go, this tabaxi is the one that is responsible for the demise of the Grackle.
Now, see, the angry ferret that is in my head. And as he says that, you hear a little sort of chuckle come from this bag that he keeps beside him, which both of you have heard. He keeps some sort of laughing skull in. But he just sort of shakes it off and says, look at this little animal that runs around in there and really, really makes me question everything. Especially with you, Haboob. You were spotted picking the pockets of somebody at the docks by one of our people. You were in Carrick's area, and you were sloppy. How much did you get from the mark?
Fuck. I'm kind of
Sheriff's
scrolled
gonna
back.
cross his arms, just kind of lean back and look at him like, yeah, how much you got, buddy?
What, is there a tip pool?
Oh no! Hold on. I'm trying to open up my previous chat logs, so I'm trying to find the amount that was taken.
It was a few silver and some copper, I think.
Yeah. No,
But
it was
yeah.
actually 3 gold and a couple of 7 silver and 3 gold, I think.
All right. Well, Monteron will just say, you owe 25% of that to the Shadow Guild. And you are lucky I am not cutting off one of your digits for your impudence.
That is, this tabaxi thinks it's fair.
Indeed, it is fair. Now, I will say you did good work. I would be proud to offer you both membership in the Shadow Thieves Guild as silhouettes. With that, I will remain your contact, but you get the benefits of the Shadow Guild. If you need poisons, things of that nature, I can provide them for you. Not at any discount. You pay the price, you pay the price. But if you need anything fenced or sold, I can get you full price. And we will not take a cut of that. Also, if you come across anything of a magical nature that you don't like, we can find you something for trade, plus a small cost. There will be a fee involved with that, but you will always be able to get what you need from us if you have something else to trade that is magical. You will also have a safe house up and down the coast. To that end, you will promise not to betray us to the Zentarum or to the Xanathar's guild. And he spits on the ground as, they are the ones that got them kicked out of Waterdeep, which is one of the few cities that the Shadow Guild does not have a hold in any longer. And should you ever visit the home office in Athkatla, you will be treated very, very well.
Atleka.
It is a very southern, very wealthy city. They say the streets are literally paved in gold.
Ooh. Shiny.
Capitalist lies.
Chirrup will nod and give like a little bit of a bow in thanks and acceptance.
This tabaxi apologizes for taking without the request, but I will abide. And thank you for your generosity.
Don't ever, ever take responsibility for someone else's work unless you can get away with it. And he winks. With that, you are able to spend the rest of your night sleeping, relaxing. You all level up to level 2. Morning comes, and we find ourselves at the garrison. And Max, you are, eating your breakfast in the main dining hall underneath the pictures of the great former heroes. Some are lost, some are, deceased, of the Voiceless itself, and
Oatmeal, yum.
and the captain will, come to the front, and Trask wishes everybody a good morning, and in his one arm, sort of raises sort of a morning coffee and drink, and just says, "Men, we have had a wonderful, wonderful thing happen here. Our great colleague here, Maximilian Justice, rescued 4 flumps from and you can hear sort of snickering at this, from being kidnapped and smuggled, and he sort of, looks at everybody sternly and just says, the smallest creature is worthy of all of our aid and help, and this is a wonderful thing that has been done. And you will get sort of cheers and huzzas
Thank you.
ringing around as everybody sort of bangs on the table.
Any one of you would have done it. It's fine. I appreciate it though. Thank you.
And he will then look at you and just say, "Oh, and Master Cicada wishes to see you in his office when you are done your meal." And
okay.
At the end of that, you are ushered back into this small, cramped office that is filled with scrolls and books, as Cicada is the authority for all land ownership in the area. So he has every deed, every map, going back centuries. And I mean, while he was named by the group of the Voiceless, the Cicada, just for being sort of tucked away in his office and only sort of showing up every jokingly 15 or 17 years, he, ushers you in and hands you a small rolled deed and just says that Master Alliston has bequeathed this to you and your friends, I am told. So I will need all of your signatures on it and then have you return it to me. And that way the Fent property will now be under your ownership.
Oh well, thank you. Tell Alliston next time you see him. I'll go and get those signatures right away. Tell Alliston next time you see him. Thank you from us. This is more than generous of him.
Have you seen the house?
It's probably going to need a lot of work if it's the one I'm thinking of.
It will. But it's interesting. That parcel of land has been most active. There was a really snooty wizard from the capital that was in asking around about it as well. And he will sort of roll this map out across the top of his table. And, you see the town, and then a few minutes outside of town, he sort of points at where this is. And he says, this is the old Fent mine, and here is your home. But what this wizard was looking at, and he points to a very faint sort of mark, and he says, apparently there is an old cairn here that has been overlooked for some time, called the Whispering Cairn, apparently from the noises it makes. But it seems this Kellic, this wizard, said that he and his group will be there in a few days after they look into the Sturge Nest mines. So
our property? I know, sorry, not there.
You only own the house.
And
I know you and your friends are into some sort of delving, and I thought you might be interested in checking this place out before that jerk from the capital gets in there.
Sorry, Kellic is the name of the wizard.
He was in the paper. It was in that special edition of the paper.
Yeah, there were the 3 people from Waterdeep that were here coming to look for the Sturge Nest Cairn. There was Kellic, who was a wizard. There was Tira, who's seemingly a rogue of some sort. And then there was Auric, the big blonde champion of the games that fought with Greypaw last night. But yeah, they are here as treasure hunters.
All right. Well, I'll be sure to tell the others. Now, I guess I'll have to track everyone else down. Probably start at the Feral Dog, where I know a few of them hang out, or possibly the Emporium. I'm not going to feel good going into either of those places, but paperwork must be done, as I'm sure you're aware.
Oh, absolutely. I will be here ready for it once you have everybody sign it off. And so you spend the morning collecting everybody, including Alliston, who will lead you to the property. It's, a good 20 minutes outside of the town itself. Most of it is, sort of overgrown landscape at this point. And as you make your way up to it, you find yourselves in front of a modest dwelling which squats upon the crown of a small hill.
All right, there's
And, while the rough stone walls of the first floor look mostly intact, the second floor has completely, seemingly collapsed in on itself. You see a half-height wall rings the house, but it is also in a state of disrepair. And rubble and dense weeds choke out most of the yard as well. And so I've just put up a picture of the old mine office itself.
While on patrol with the garrison, I've stayed in worse dumps. This dump will do just fine, Alliston.
It's the start of our vision.
Don't you already own property in the city? Your office?
Well, yeah.
Bigger digs,
Yes, that's certainly one way to describe them.
bigger place for a press.
I
We'll
just
get the pressmen in and the other reporters, and we'll get this place shipshape in no time.
a socialist, not a communist. I do believe in some private ownership as long as it benefits the people.
Yes, and with this, you'll be owners of 2 properties. How fortuitous for you.
All will be held in trust to the town and with the goal of improving citizens' lives. I will not become a robber baron.
Well, in this new democracy, people with that much property will have 2 votes.
Oh?
Communism is anti-freedom, young lady.
I'm a socialist.
Same diff.
Anyway, says Alliston, I have also hired Udgar Stoneswill here as a builder to help you with your restoration needs, and he could certainly reconfigure the house for you if as you need.
Are these buildings to the right the second and third floor, or are they outbuildings?
The lower one is the basement, the top one is the second floor.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I can't just walk into this building, then I have to actually walk into the front of the building and then go down into the basement.
Well, you can see that, the building itself is made of these stone smooth blocks. There are vines that creep up the side, and, most of the windows are broken. The front door is kind of hanging open, barely on its hinges. And the front porch is sort of sagging and has partially collapsed. But Edgar will say, when I checked the house out, it is stable. The first floor is very, very solid. There are stairs down to the basement on the right-hand side, so you can get to the basement from the outside as well as going in through the kitchen.
Have you explored the entire house Utgar?
I have. It is
Excellent.
in surprisingly decent shape. There's, holes in the floor and things like that, but it's all fixable.
All right. I imagine that you're going to want some assistance with gathering, chopping some trees down and gathering wood and stuff like that.
Well, that or I will need coin in order to hire people and do it, but the work is all fixable.
How much money did we get from the bounty? The
You got
half
20.
bounty.
You got 25 gold.
All right. Now the next question
That's for
is
the party, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now the next question is: does Dr. Eisen need that 25 gold, or can we put it in as like the first installment of getting this place to not this condition?
Okay. Well, I currently have 10 gold on myself, and let's see here.
40 more.
Is there stairs to the basement on the ground floor, or do we have to go outside?
I am about to
Right
let you
here
know.
in the kitchen.
Are you sure they're in the kitchen? They're not in some anomalous part of the house?
In what used to be the kitchen. So these are the stairs leading up. Those
Yes,
are the
I
stairs
see
leading
it.
down
Yeah.
Seymour. Yep.
I see it now. Okay, let's head downstairs. We'll go
And
down the opposite stairs of Max.
yeah, and so Max, heading upstairs, I mean, the stairs leading to the second floor are like alarmingly sort of creaky, but Udgar will follow you upstairs and, show you that this building, had two main rooms up here, but he thinks he could easily subdivide everything in here. But he will warn you that, most of this floor, you can see there are water stains that haven't soaked through. So he's like, so the floor is not terrible here, but the roof needs to be fixed before we can do anything else.
Obviously,
And
yes.
yes, I could, easily carve out the top section here into one or two rooms if anyone needs something smaller. These I could easily carve into a couple of rooms. So, but for the what are there, 7 of you? Yeah, I could easily make 7 rooms up here. They won't all be spacious, but they will be fine.
I am a man of modest means and
Hey,
modest
Grandpa,
needs.
Is there
Yes.
an attic?
hole in the corner of the basement?
There is. I suggest that we drop you down it and see how long it takes for you to hit the bottom.
Well, we could do that, but how about we just do it with this candle?
I suppose.
Or we'll light something on fire and drop it down.
Yeah, there is not an attic, but yeah, it's all sort of. There's only the 2 stories. He could build something into the 3rd floor if you wanted like a drop ladder or pull down stairs or something like that. But it's not what the house is designed for. But all it takes is money, he says.
Yes, we're not going to be able to take this place to the condition that we need today, or probably even this 10-day.
Seymour, this could be a great little fighting rink in here.
I was thinking it would be a great place for a press. Look, I could
You
make
already have a
giant
press office.
Yes, but I could make a bigger press here, much bigger. Bigger circulation.
I feel like the basement would be the best place for the doctor's lab. That way stuff
No,
can go
hit
up.
top floor for the doctor, because if he explodes in the basement, it all goes up.
True.
We'd rather
We
take
could
the
dig
roof
out
off
more
than the house
basement
out.
for his lab.
And you drop this candle sort of down this hole, and you hear a low growl emanate from deep within.
We saw that tonight.
I yell out, "Guys, there's something alive down here!"
All right,
Grandpa
Udgar.
woke something up.
All right,
Wait, hang on,
Udgar.
hang on.
Stay
Are
here.
you really suggesting that of the 2 of us, Seymour was not the one to drop the candle?
Oh, he totally was.
Grandpa, how could you?
Yes, how could I?
Does it smell sulfurous?
It's
See.
growling.
All right, are
Do
we in
I
initiative?
detect sulfur, Patrick?
You do not detect sulfur. You smell damp and sort of fur. And as you sort of investigate in, you see a pair of small beady eyes looking up at you, Seymour.
Is it a badger?
So is this thing seeing more of Seymour?
Suddenly, Seymour, you're here beside me. It is a badger. I was right.
It is.
Oh,
Is it
I'm
climbing
gonna.
after us?
Actually, I'm going to say, excuse me, sir. We now own the in Badger. We own the property now.
Do you speak Badger?
I do now, at second level.
You took the beast speech?
Yes, because I'm going to get sources from everything. Ask some guy, some dog about his owner. Oh, so what's your owner been up to lately? Oh, really? But yeah, we will ask this badger to relocate. We will even help him.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, the badger just sort of, looks kind of shocked at you speaking to it, and all you hear, Great Paw, is just sort of this. But to Seymour, you hear it saying, "But I'm warm and comfy down here. Can you find me somewhere else just as nice?"
Would you like to live under the porch? We're getting it rebuilt. We could put a little house in there. Keep an eye on things for us when we're not here. That's definitely worth, a couple meals a week.
You feed me, I'll move. Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
fair. Deal's
yeah.
deal.
You make a deal with this badger.
To watch our back when we're not home. Good badger.
Do we seriously have a pet badger now?
I don't think he's a pet. He's like an independent contractor.
Oh,
We
He's
have
our
a guard badger.
We have a superintendent.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, the house is full of small mounds of different kinds of debris. There's loose stones, dead weeds in here. Clearly, some teenagers or somebody were in here and have carved their names and things as grime and graffiti cover most every surface.
There's always
You
a
can
filthy mattress and a used bra.
you can see where paintings must have sort of hung on the walls at some point, and but otherwise, I mean, the air in here is stale. It doesn't sort of reek otherwise. And it is ready for you to designate any designs you want. And it will be restored and rebuilt by Edgar as your money dictates.
I can see it now. I'll come right here. I have a pulpit right to say here. This room has plenty of room for chairs, and I can give speeches on the value of socialism and town improvements and anything else I might need.
Oh, and there is an outhouse out back. It's a little collapsed, but it doesn't smell, and the hole is good and deep, and the well water is dark but drinkable.
It doesn't smell now. I'll be right back.
It's a little close to the well, I think. Oh, Senior Badger, what was your name?
It just looks at you dumbstruck. Huh?
All right, Senior Badger it is. Senior Badger, that is something that you could help us, and we'll figure out a payment after. But we are going to need a new well. Farther from the outhouse.
Yeah, it just looks at you confused. It's like, I don't think I can do that.
Don't they have a burrow speed?
They do, but he doesn't understand the concept of digging a well.
Oh, we'll figure that out later. Don't worry. We'll figure it out later.
Dig a deep hole for water.
Yeah, that works. That's a good place for the press, right there.
Oh no, that's my boxing ring.
That's going to kind of interfere with the big-ass press.
As established, you have a entire building for your press.
Well, it's more a part of a building.
An entire part of a building for your press. And I have an entire part of a building to fight people in.
But hey, we could switch. You could have a boxing club in town.
Tempting.
Got quiet. He wants that.
Tempting.
So it's somewhere somebody wants a press, and Grey Paw wants somewhere to do presses.
Oh, good.
Then again, Max will probably want a home gym.
I don't think Max knows what he wants.
I do know that a good body is necessary for the fight against evil.
I like to think he's commenting out. It's like muffled coming out of the outhouse.
A good body is.
I wonder if Max or I could press each other, lift each other, squat each other.
There's a
If you
room.
want to do, you are a consenting adult.
Yeah, there's a room separate for that.
Well, Max isn't. So we have a fireplace, we've got a outhouse, we've got a well. You know what? I have something I am very interested in. How long does divine sense last?
I believe it is instant. Like you cast it, and then it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like sonar.
And
But one ping.
okay, so I'll put myself sort of roughly in the middle of the house here, and I'm just gonna sort of look around and just sort of close my eyes and push my senses out and see if I detect anything wrong.
You do not. Your ping comes back clean and clear. You detect no undead. This is not a desecrated space. Yeah, it is just a ruin.
Well, it'll do. It's going to require a lot of money and a lot of effort and probably a lot of long nights, but you know what they say? Get to work, lazy ass. Let's do this.
Well, I think we
And
should head to that mound first. Get ahead of those city folk.
Yes, in fact, we probably should do that at some point soon. There's probably valuable treasures down there, and we could use that to pay up the upkeep of this place.
And also important cultural artifacts for this town. And we have to keep them safe from the hands of those greedy Waterdavian capitalists.
No, I'm pretty sure that was just when outsiders were doing it. When we do it, it's okay.
No, there is a difference, and as you can see in my pamphlet, of where I explicitly state, and I'll just go off and on.
And Aliston will say, and for nothing else, I played some dragon chess with that wizard, and he's a bit of a talkative jerk, so I would be thrilled if you would be able to beat them to the punch, as it were.
Excellent. Any hot goths?
No, he's an intelligent, devious person. I think he has something to do with the Seekers, which is not a group I am in favor of. They believe in the freedom of knowledge. And while I agree with that, they do it at whatever cost they deem necessary, which typically means they will circumvent laws and propriety.
Oh, so I hate him then.
Well,
Or
he
even
also
more.
stole every artifact that was here before, so or a lot of
them.
This just backs up what I've always said, Aliston. Open knowledge is dangerous.
Yes, certain things should be put aside. I believe in the concept of the gift shrunk, as you well know, which is a place where poisoned knowledge is to be kept. It shouldn't be destroyed, but it needs to be secured so it is not easily available to those who could use it for ill.
Exactly. Now, let's lock this place up because I don't think we're going to be staying here tonight. Are we going to be
poke
devoting...
the door that's hanging off its hinges? We can't lock this right now.
Close the door and make it look like it's locked?
Senior Badger will watch the house.
Indeed. Brother Badger.
Badgers?
Oh, Brother Badger works.
What is this red shit? in the basement?
That's gonna be the press. That's the floor plan. See
Ian,
the
is
box
every
around it.
single character of yours from now until the end of time going to try to take something away from Brendan?
I called the basement first. I
You
get
have an
one.
entire building for your press.
I need a bigger room.
About this.
And hey, I called the other bedroom in the last campaign first too.
Yes,
Is
and
there
then my
anything-
character was elected captain.
Is there anything that I can't have that Brendan won't steal? Is the better question.
Well, if you want to have your boxing ring, I suppose sport is good for the soul and the body and the mind. And, well, I guess we could possibly rent out one of the rooms to Grey Paw for his little boxing ring, provided he does charity work with the local orphanage.
Teach the orphans to box. They already know how to steal. That's
Yeah.
a terrible combination.
Yes, let's keep
Needs
the
to
pounds out
defend
of it.
themselves from their life on the streets.
I'm going to suggest that we get to that cairn before Calistan has a chance to loot it.
Yeah, so with that, about only 10 minutes east of your new abode, you find this wide, monolith-lined portal, partially obscured by underbrush and boulders. And it takes you a few minutes to clear the sort of brush and assorted debris from around the entrance away. And as you do so, you can clearly see that the entryway here is a good 20 feet wide and about 20 feet tall, with ceilings of very smooth stone. And, as you take your first steps into the cairn itself, you can see that the natural light only sort of dimly illuminates a long hallway extending into the darkness. And with it, a faint breeze brings sibilant whispers, and you begin to understand how this cairn got its name, and it must just be a trick of the wind, but it sounds like a sighing breath and is almost lifelike.
Would it be in perception or investigation to try and hear if there are voices in the wind?
Perception.
Hey!
Yeah. As lifelike as they sound, you're unable to pick anything out of it. You can see the walls around you bear horizontal bands of deceptively simple geometric patterns at about your waist level. And in places, these reveal startling detail. But in other areas, the walls look as though they have been hacked apart with weapons or eroded by the rigors of time. Flakes of ancient paint, brilliant purple and a dull mustard yellow hue still cling to the walls in places, hinting at what must once have been a riot of color. And you can see a thin coating of dust coats across the floor. Just at the very edge of your vision, Haboob, you can see the hallway branches into pathways to the left and the right. All right, Seymour, you are lighting a bullseye lantern.
Yep. I suppose we should check for traps, right?
I'll check with traps every few steps ahead.
29,
much?
we're checking for traps at the front.
Yeah, okay. How far will a bullseye lantern emit light? Is that 50 feet?
Oh, I can't recall. Let's see.
I thought it was something stupid like 90.
Yeah, but in a cone.
Bullseye
You can
goes
set
out. Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't provide like 360 degrees. It's straight ahead.
60-foot cone.
60-foot cone bright, and then 60 feet dim.
Is there
And burns
no
for 6
way-
hours on 1 pint of oil
That's a lot
or
of oil.
flask.
And then I have a torch, which is
If
just
it's
2020.
if it's a pain in the ass to give me a cone light, then just make it a normal light.
You can do a cone light really easy.
Now I have a question. Did Dr. Eisen distribute goodies to people, or?
Well, we had talked about it and then stopped, and I had forgotten.
Yeah.
So we would have probably at the beginning of the adventuring day. So I have, as I said, the enhanced weapon and goggles of night. I'm not sure which one is is wanted here. By whom?
Max is perfectly okay taking the weapon and giving the goggles of night to someone else, possibly yourself.
I have dark vision. I'm a tiefling.
Oh,
No one else wants the goggles. Chirp will take them.
Okay. Now I've thematiced them as their eye drops because that seems cool and alchemical.
At least you're not ripping out her eye and putting in a electronic one.
Yeah, no, that or I'm treating a pair of lenses, because that's the other way that you would do it.
Okay, I put in the eye drops before we head down.
I would like to point out the art for Greypaw does literally have goggles of night on.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, but they're just for show.
Yes.
Like his muscles.
Hey.
Oh.
Well, let's head forward. We've checked for traps at the front anyway.
Yeah, you don't find any sense of traps here. You do see what appear to be the footprints of, could be dogs. You see a couple of smaller ones and then one larger set of footprints that are going in and out of the entrance and continue further on down the hall before disappearing. You can give me a survival check if you want to try and figure out what these are the prints of.
Anybody got a good survival? I'll try. Okay, I am rolling good tonight.
Wow, yeah, Seymour, you clearly recognize these as wolf tracks, and it's clear to you that several wolves have crossed the dusty hallway numerous times in the recent past.
All right, I will spread that to the party. Wolves.
So there's wolves down here. Sounds good. All right, so we've done some investigation.
Are the tracks fairly prominent enough that I'd be able to tell if they were only going in one direction?
Nope, they are going. They have crossed the hallway, so they're going in and out regularly.
Well, after you big muscly fighters.
All right.
So you can see at the end of your light, the hallway seems to branch to the left and to the right.
And I'll just tell me when I'm checking, is I'm like keeping my eyes on the ground and looking for traps as we're going forward. So tell me when you want me to roll again.
Patrick, can I have a torch?
Will do.
I tried to light one.
Sure.
That's just 2020. I do like the cone, though. The cone's cool.
I also like to use the drop torch feature.
Alright, so I'll stride forward a bit more. Stride forward a bit more. Yeah. Perfect.
All right, so you can see at this point that the hallway branches off into shallow alcoves, and the walls here you can see bear the most significant damage. You see dozens of clumsy etchings mar the beautiful ancient masonry, and again, it's graffiti that seems to be most of this stuff. And to your left, you can see a clump of soiled cloth about the size of a halfling rests in the rounded terminus of the western alcove. And outside, the wind picks up, and a chorus of almost human sound rises from the darkened hall.
I am going to step forward to there.
Keep the light on them, and I'm checking. Do you want me to do another investigate for traps?
please do. I am going
Yep,
to
go for it.
Guidance.
I'm going to sort of clutch at the top of my shield, which has my holy symbol engraved in it, and I am going to pray to Torm to reveal the secrets of this place and use another divine sense.
All right, your divine sense reaches out. You do pick up just the faintest hint of a celestial aura. It doesn't seem like a being, but it feels like this area was suffused with that type of energy at some point.
Do I get a sense of the direction, or is just generally this area?
All around. Yeah, and you're checking for traps, Seymour. None of this appears to be trapped. You get the sense with the graffiti on the walls that, either locals or maybe even kids or something like that came in here. And that sort of twigs a memory to you, Molly, of hearing when you were growing up some kids, talking about discovering someplace and daring each other to go in every once in a while.
This was the Whispering Cairn?
Yes.
I'm just writing my notes, sorry.
Yeah, and so over here you see there is that clump of soiled cloth about the size of a halfling. And everywhere else over here are, it's graffiti and the walls have been sort of scarred and marked and broken.
All right.
And then the hallway continues on and you see two more possible alcoves ahead of you.
Yeah. Somebody's going to go in and take a look at that.
I'll
Max
keep a
will...
light down the hallway as far as it can go, just so nothing jumps up on us.
Why does that say Chris and not Max?
Oh, interesting.
There. All right. Well, if
Are we
nobody's gonna...
checking we're not checking the bundle?
I was gonna...
I'll go and check the bundle.
All right. Max will
Guidance.
back you up.
Do I have to roll anything to check the bundle?
You don't. It is, once you get close, you can see it is in fact a moldy old bedroll.
So people were here and left quickly.
Kids were making out here.
Does it look like a child's, or not a child's, a teenager's makeout spot?
Give me an insight check. And Molly, since you're a local, you can give me a history check as well.
Did you say an insight check?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, this bedroll, it's hardened and sort of brittle and cracked as you sort of look at it. It has clearly been here for years. And you can see there are sort of what you would recognize as whittling shavings around it, Dr. Eisen. And thinking back, Stephanie, Molly sort of remembers about 6 years ago stories of a teenage girl who went missing and, took off just with a bedroll and things like that. So it could be something like that, or it could just be something that kids have left behind here.
I will let everyone know. This could be that girl that got missing. I remember reading about it in my true crime pamphlets.
The ones you wrote?
Well, there's the ones I wrote, but then there's really a great one called My Favorite Murders.
there's the Neverwinter Guide to the Grisly Murders.
These the paintings on the wall, they've been all marred up. They're basically unreadable at this point. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The further you look down, the less damaged they appear, though you do see, on the walls, signs of just where the walls have collapsed partially in decay.
Right, but at some point, once we get further enough down this hallway, we should be able to read something.
You'd think so. It doesn't look like the walls have been broken or destroyed much past this point, so it doesn't look like the kids were brave enough to potentially go any further than this first set of alcoves.
Right. What I'm going to suggest is I would like to make a quick religion check, just to see if this twigs anything in Max's like the symbolism of this
All
place.
right.
Because this was once a holy place, so very very interested. And Max doesn't know much.
Yeah. No, you look around and I mean, this clearly feels significant and religious, but you haven't seen enough to come to a decision yet of what this could be.
Okay. So, I'll advance to here.
All right. And you can see now that the alcove to your right has completely collapsed about 15 feet down the passageway. There's just a massive pile of collapsed rubble blocking this alcove from top to bottom. And Greypaw, from even just your basic work in and around the mines, you would figure this would take weeks to dig through this kind of packed debris. On the left, however, it ends on a small marble platform raised about 6 inches off the floor. And you see a strange, shattered arcane apparatus resting on this platform. Its curved, ovular frame giving the appearance of a noble's dressing mirror. But only about a third of it remains.
I think the doctor's going to want to look at this one.
Why is there a dressing mirror in a cairn?
That's for checking for traps.
Yeah, still no sign of any traps in this area. So that is what you see at the end of the eastern passageway. This curved ovular frame resting on, a small marble platform.
All right, so that is super spooky. We should check it out.
Yes,
You go first, Seymour.
So I would ritually cast Detect Magic first, say I just need some time. And then once it's up, I will check to see if I, use an action to see magic. Well, to see if there's any magic first, and then an action to see what school.
It is not currently giving off any magic, but you get the sense that were it not broken, it probably would. Like it's like a flicker, but it is clearly not active.
So it's giving off the sense of broken magic.
Yeah, long broken.
All right.
Any value to it?
Moving forward, can I figure out what it might have been and if there's any current value to it?
Yeah, I mean, as you get closer, you can see an unusual arcane glyph about the size of a man's head has been delicately carved into the base plate of the supporting platform. And if you want to look around or anything else, you can give me an investigation or a perception check.
What's this?
All right.
Is the rune just like a magical spell, or is it like a word for something? Because I can read anything.
It appears to be a personal sigil of some sort.
Okay.
But yeah, you can recognize it as such, but you cannot,
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I know it's a.
Yeah.
So I was guidanced earlier. Nice.
Yeah, so you quite clearly recognize this is some sort of arcane device. And on the ground in front of it, you find a few shards of a shiny black substance that feels like stone, but is not stone. And as you inspect the frame itself, you see there are numerous runes and glyphs carved into a slot on the inside of the frame, where what you would assume is like this mirror's glass would have been held. And give me an arcana. Actually, your detect magic is still going up. And I would say that these arcane symbols are still what's sort of giving off this flickering. And you would identify it as some sort of ancient teleportation or transportation.
Interesting. I'm going to suggest. Does it look like we could transport this from this location back to our abode?
It is a very large, very heavy sort of marble base. You think it's possible, but it would take equipment to do so.
We can't
The
disconnect
shards.
from the base, or we think we would break it more if we disconnected it from the base.
Yeah, you would have to really break it to sort of disconnect it from the base.
Which I would
but
not want to do.
You do think these, half a dozen shards that you picked up are probably worth something.
All right. I will... just looking at the shards, they don't appear to have any sort of obvious magical effect according to my vision.
No.
Okay. I will collect one shard, hoping that it doesn't hurt me.
It does not.
And then I will collect the rest.
All right. And Seymour, as you spend more time sort of looking at those glyphs, give me a straight intelligence check, please.
Oof.
You pick up that, like, the glyphs that you can see in here don't seem to be formed from a common alphabet, but they are reminiscent of arcane symbols representing elemental air.
So it's like air in a bunch of different languages kind of thing?
More like a very, very ancient set of glyphs that, yeah, they resemble the arcane symbols for elemental air.
All right, so it's covered in air symbols. I will spread that to the party. I mean, maybe that's why it's Whispering. This is an air temple.
I will say, as you've been investigating, you've seen and found tiny little holes in the walls that the whispering seems to come through. So as the wind blows over top of the hill, you figure there must be a way for the air to, go through all kinds of minute tubes, which would have taken a lot of effort to make. But that's what's creating the whispering sound.
All right.
And everyone give me a perception check, please.
Oh, Steph's AFK.
Okay.
Well, I beat my passive.
I did not beat your passive.
Neither did I.
I got my passive.
Yeah. So Seymour and Chirrup, you just every once in a while pick up a green flickering light coming from the very end of the hallway.
I will let everybody know.
Yeah, Chirp
Okay.
will like click his beak or something to get everyone's attention.
All right. So
And it's 9. I need to change cash. Do we want to do
Let's take a 5-minute. Yeah, let's take a 5-minute bio break then.
all right.
Be right back.
Now, what are you going to change him into?
I was thinking a newt, but we'll see.
A
He'll
newt?
get better. He'll get better.
You got better.
Okay, be right back.
I'll be right back.
I can't wait for all my stuff to come in the mail tomorrow. I'm all excited.
Yeah, it's a fun time when you can when you know stuff is coming.
Especially because it's like Miles goes to the mail every day because like he's always ordered, so he's always getting this, that, and the other thing. I'm just like, I want stuff too. I want to get stuff in the mail too.
Yeah, Karen orders all kinds of books, of course, for her studies and research. So every other day, yeah, there's a new book that arrives. But we've also been we order seafood from Toronto because there's nowhere good locally here, and we found a really good distributor that ships frozen seafood to us here in Windsor.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, he's getting like his coffee brought in and like his band T-shirts and just like random stuff that he finds on Amazon that he thinks is like useful to us or just cool.
Yeah, that's good. I bring Karen's coffee back from Sarnia. There's a really good local roastery there.
Yeah,
Where
he does
does Miles get his coffee from?
Death Wish.
Nice.
Yes, he drinks it black with like one sweetener. And he's like, that's all he needs for the day is just one coffee, and like that's it first thing in the morning.
I go with Monster.
Energy drink?
No, that's just the water I use for my my coffee. Just instead of using normal water, I use Monster.
You can get caffeinated water in New York City because you're not allowed to have coffee or tea on the stock exchange floor. So at shops around the stock exchange, you can get like caffeinated bottled water.
So why no coffee or tea on the floor? Because of the spills and stuff?
I guess so.
Sorry,
But
where's
then
this?
why have any
There was
drink
just
on the
one
New York City.
incredibly clumsy stockbroker.
Yeah.
He ruined it for everybody.
So you can't get coffee at the stock exchange.
But you can get
Right.
caffeinated water.
Yep.
Caffeinated water. That has to be due to stains. That's the only thing I can think of.
Must be. But, I've always heard tell of people, of course, joking about, oh, I'd use that to make my coffee.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to.
Caffeine is toxic.
There's an LD50.
Well, there's an LD50 for everything.
Yes, there is. There's an LD50 for distilled water.
Yeah, it's called drowning yourself.
How
Nope.
much of anything will kill
Drinking.
you?
If you drink 4
Yeah,
liters
it makes
of
your
water
cells
in an
explode.
hour, you will die.
It makes your cells explode.
No, it just leaches all the electrolytes out of your nerves, and then you'll die. There's a woman who died that way about 10 years ago. She was trying to win. They had some radio station had like a water drinking contest.
It was the Hold Your Wee for a Wee contest.
Yeah, and
And
she drank too much water, and she literally went to the hospital and died.
I think her kidneys exploded before she even got to the hospital.
To be fair, it is not an easy thing to do to yourself, but it can be done.
Did she win the car, though?
It wasn't a car, it was a Nintendo Wii.
It was a Nintendo Wii.
Oh my god.
She was literally...
This was back when the Wii was incredibly hard to get and going for twice its price on eBay.
And all she wanted was just to get the Wii for her son, and all she left is... nothing.
Not even the Wii?
Not even the Wii. I'm sure she left her Wii on the carpet for the son, but not the system.
Wow, Nabil.
Yeah, a woman is dead, Nabil. Seriously. God. Can't believe you'd say something like that.
Especially since we're broadcasting.
Yeah. Good night, folks. Nice knowing you all.
Live to everyone. Okay, what do we got here in the...
I'm back, but Steph will be a minute, so we can restart if everyone else is back.
All right.
And if we do have any viewers left, leave your complaints to Ian or Stephanie or both.
To what?
Yep, we're completely innocent, folks.
What'd you guys do?
Something that you're gonna have to watch after you're done streaming.
Yeah, we're not saying a word.
I'm not going back and looking. I don't care.
And Ian, I will say, with that, with your ability to read, you recognize that glyph as a name.
Ooh.
Icosial. Means nothing to you. with your knowledge check, but you recognize that, yeah, it is somebody's personal glyph.
Ooh, the co-seal. Isocial. He's got... Wait, which is the isocial?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be a hard C, could be a soft C.
Alrighty. Steph is just sitting down now.
All right, so you see the hallway continues ahead of you. Again, there are a couple of areas where the wall is partially collapsed on your left, but after another 30 feet, it clearly opens up into a much larger chamber, and the far end of which you can just make out a faint green light.
Oh.
Okay. Max
Check for traps going forward.
Yeah.
All right, give me a check.
Guidance.
No sign of any traps.
All right. Max will cautiously step forward.
Observant may be an awesome feat.
All right, so you can see at this point, again, the light here, allows you to see that you're in a much larger chamber than the last two alcoves, and they spread out further to the left and the right, Maximilian, but you are not at a position where you can see what is at the end of either one of them yet.
I can kind of, sort of, and I think that's just broken light. I can kind of see like a wedge.
Yep.
Are those
You can
webs
see.
that we can see in the green light?
Yeah, it is a passageway that is completely covered in cobwebs. And again, off to the right, it appears that there's been a cave-in and sort of a collapsed area. But off to the left, you see a large chamber, and this place smells of animal spore and wet fur, and yeah, this 20-foot wide opening ahead of you is covered in cobwebs, and you see a green light coming through. To the west, there are 3 short stairs which lead to a wide marble dais, but the far end is sort of obscured by most darkness. But as your light sort of pierces through, you can see that there is clearly an undamaged image across the back wall on the left, Maximilian, over here. You can't make out what it is from where you are, but clearly the walls here have not been broken and cracked and destroyed like the other ones have been.
But looking at it, does that look like there's water there?
I thought
The
there were
blue
stains.
stuff.
There's like stains on the ground in different colors.
Nope, it's far more colorful than that. If I come up to here, what can I see of it?
As you move forward, you can see that there appears to be a fresco on the southwest and northern walls. And, you get the sense that, it's kind of an unfocused image here, but as you get sort of closer and closer, you think it might give you a better idea. And as you make your way across there, Seymour, you hear the sound of a low snarl as a trio of wolves race through a small break in the wall behind you, surprising everybody but Seymour. It is time to roll initiative, please.
Oh, there's 2 little baby wolves.
Those are
That are
full-size
about
wolves.
to eat us.
They are full-sized wolves. There is 1 direwolf and 2 regular wolves.
The situation is dire. What a fun.
Oh my god, with this initiative.
They're going after
Look.
Haboob for that.
I think my average roll in this game is like a 5.
Well, one of them got a nat 1.
You gotta love how the only person who isn't surprised rolled lowest.
Goes last, yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, you're being eaten by wolves right now.
Well, the good news is I'm actually faster than the wolves.
How did your cleric get a 22? You should be ashamed of yourselves.
A natural 20?
Because they're a medium armor cleric, so they have
Yeah.
good decks.
Yep, that's the plan.
Cleric should not be doing that kind of thing.
Who says I need to be on the scene as soon as possible, not only as a girl reporter, but as a socialist cleric?
Fair enough.
Has to preach communism wherever she goes.
Socialism!
Those communists are crafty, them.
God, it's like talking to my dad.
So if we're surprised, then it's wolves first?
Well, you are the only one not surprised, Seymour. So Molly, you are surprised. Ison, you are surprised.
Well, as soon as our turn comes, we lose. It's not really a condition. We have our reactions back.
Yep. And so the direwolf comes to the doctor first. It is going to bite at you. That is a critical hit for 23 piercing damage.
What?
I'm down.
Oh my god.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I was laughing to myself that, hey, my HP is exactly equal to my AC right now.
Not anymore.
Yeah. These two will go after Haboob.
I think I'm going down over here.
That is a 12, which does not hit.
Yeah, I'm down. Not yet.
No.
And second
12 to
one,
hit.
that is
12 to hit.
that was a 12 to hit.
Missed.
12 to hit.
Oh, 12 to hit. Sorry, my brain.
The second wolf, though, that is a 15 to hit for 8 piercing. And give me a strength saving throw, please.
Strength save. Oh boy.
Give it a shot. You never know.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? That.
You are knocked prone. That takes
Wow.
us to Seymour.
All right. I am going to shout in wolf. Friend wolves, we are not here to fight or quarrel. Please take this offering and let us be. We are friends, and I will drop. How many rations do you start with? Is it 10?
10 rations.
Yeah, 10.
I will do a persuasion check and drop the rations for them.
All right, this is with disadvantage as they have already drawn blood, and you can see this one is already starting to almost drag Ison's body away. Give me your persuasion check.
Oof.
Yeah, no reaction to the wolves from that, other than just sort of looking up at you and snarling. Any movement? Any bonus action?
Yeah, I'll go behind Greypaw.
Safe. It's always comforting behind Greypaw.
Go
Top
get
of
him,
the
buddy.
top of the round. That takes us to Molly.
All right.
So
First
you
thing I'm going
just-
to
yeah.
do is I'm going to run up, cure wounds. Guys, in solidarity.
Okay, that got a laugh out of me.
Oh,
For an advantage for me.
No.
Ooh, nice.
Boom, healed for 10. All right,
That is
any more
exactly
movement, any
2/3.
bonus action?
I can't really do any bonus actions. I will move back. I think I can move back like 2.
You're on your own, Doctor.
Get out of the way when you can.
All right, that takes us to Dr. Ison. You are currently prone on the ground, but healed.
Yeah, okay, this is either going to be a really good idea or a really bad idea,
Don't end
potentially.
your turn, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to end my turn prone. Oh, but I could do. No, I won't do that. I'm not that stupid. All right, I'm going to stand up. Get up, stand up. I'm going to cast Acid Splash on the big one and the small one next to Haboob. Damage sucked, but whatever.
That is a 12. It fails, so it takes the acid damage.
And the one next to Haboob as well. Because it's two people.
That is an 11. That is also a failure.
Cool. And then I'm going to realize maybe should have disengaged first, but yeah, I live dangerously. And
That's why the lab isn't going to be in the basement.
we're going to try and just run away.
All right. That is an 18 for an attack of opportunity for 8 piercing damage. And a strength saving throw, please.
You may or may not
Oh,
realize after
shit.
that.
Yeah, I don't know if you gained anything by doing that.
Hey, you are not prone.
All right, and I move another 10 feet away. And go get him, guys.
All right. It is the Direwolf. It is going to give chase. It is going to be even on Molly, odd on Ison.
Oh, please, it'll come after me because I'm injured.
Molly.
Even Molly.
That is a 22 to hit for 8 piercing damage. And
Ooh.
a strength saving throw, please. Wow!
Oh my god.
Double zeros. You are not prone, Molly. Wow, I almost feel like that gets a crit failure roll, but yeah, you fall hard, Molly, banging your head off of these stones and are prone. That takes us to Chirrup.
The proletariat shall defeat this bourgeoisie wolf.
It's a wolf.
Let me see. Spell tokens. Do we have? There we go. Perfect. I'm going to scamper up beside Haboob here.
Scamper, scamper.
Yeah, and Thunderwave.
All right.
Is Thunderwave a cube?
Yep.
It is now.
Yeah.
So not much damage, but hopefully they get pushed
That
back.
is a 9. They take 6 thunder damage and are blown back 15 feet.
Into the wall.
Into the wall. So
Into the Great Hall.
roll another d6 for me, please.
Concussion.
Six.
Yeah, they smack the wall almost as hard as Molly hit the floor and take another 4 bludgeoning damage.
Yay! And I will, since the big bad is oh, Haboob, you've got 2 on you. Okay,
Yep.
I will bardically inspire Haboob since he has 2 on him.
All right.
So I'm pretty sure, let me double check, that's a D6 for you?
D6.
D6, yes.
Oh, he's only pushed 10 feet, so he doesn't actually bounce into the wall.
Oh, concussion.
Not enough to take damage anyway. All right, so Haboob, you are prone but bardically inspired.
Sweet. So, cunning action to bonus action disengage from these.
All right.
While using half of my action to get up. And how much is left? 15. Yeah, I'm gonna make my way back to Chirrup's other side over here. I have no idea how that happened. I'm sorry.
You have the draw tool out.
God damn it.
Is that Haboob's blood?
No,
I
he's
think
not.
I'm bleeding.
He's an
Okay,
archer.
and this is
Nobody
gonna
makes
be
me
a
bleed my own blood.
bow shot at the Direwolf since everyone is near it. That's gonna be sneak attack.
All
Is
right.
that direwolf seriously threatening 4 people right now?
It was only
Oh.
threatening 2. It got blasted beside you.
Oh,
Don't worry. It's not gonna. It's not really threatening Greypaw. Greypaw's
That is a
threatening it.
9, which misses.
Misses.
Yeah.
We're vertically inspired.
Oh, I forgot about that. Damn. 14.
14 just hits.
Sweet.
Total of 6 piercing damage. Yeah, the wolf is sort of peppered and is starting to look slightly injured, but is still looking very angry.
Excellent. And that's it for me.
All right, that takes us to Greypaw.
Go get him,
Alright.
buddy.
Greypaw is going to free action, drop his torch.
All right.
Bonus action, I would like to rage. And I'm going to attack this thing with my Warhammer.
All right.
That is a 15.
That connects
Look
for
at
6
that
bludgeoning damage.
Damage! My dice.
Yeah, you don't get great contact with it. It just sort of glances off the wolf's shoulder, but it sort of turns and snaps and snarls at you. Any movement?
You know what? I think I'm good right here.
All right.
Come
That
on,
takes
big
us
guy.
to the wolves. And they are going to leap at this
A Kenku
delightful
in every
raven Kenku.
Of course.
That is a
By the way.
22 to hit for 6 piercing damage.
Oof.
Okay.
Pack tactics. And the second one, that is a critical hit for 17 piercing damage.
I'm down.
And it will start dragging Chirrup over back towards their nest. Maximilian.
Hey guys, have you seen this like really great colorful fresco? Oh shit! Okay, so that's Chirrup being dragged off, to be
Eaten
eaten.
alive.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't have a lot of good ranged options here. That thing is being surrounded by a lot of people, including Greypaw, so I'm probably good there. I can make it just to this wolf here. This isn't great, but
Give me a dexterity check as you run across the rations Seymour threw across the ground.
7. Ah!
My bananas.
Yeah, you stumble and slip, but you do not fall down. I will say you're going to get a -2 to your attack.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I didn't give you disadvantage.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, then 8.
Oh, 10 would have missed anyway. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, you swing just a little bit wide and this wolf ducks out of the way of your attack.
Okay, well, we can't fight wolves. That's good.
I stand by my ration plan anyway.
It's a banana! Why would
I don't
you
know, I
try
think it
to
was
tempt-
irrational. That takes us to Seymour.
Why would you Why would you try and tempt wolves with a banana?
Wolves are omnivorous! I shout as I begin to blast.
More importantly, why is banana your go-to like traveling food?
I don't know. 'cause I
For
thought it was
exactly the reason what Maximilian went through.
funny. I guess I'll shoot the guy closest to me.
Shh, his patron is the lady from Chiquita Bananas.
I'm
I think her name
banana
is literally
peel.
Chiquita Banana.
Yep, I think you're right. All right. Yeah, even with disadvantage, you blast this direwolf, but for a single bit of damage.
Oh, why?
It is just starting to appear a little bit bloodied, though.
I have not had good luck with Eldritch Blast so far. Everything's been, I think 2 is the most damage I've done with it.
Yeah. All right. Any movement, Seymour?
He will get an attack of opportunity if I move, won't he? Yeah, I am gonna stay where I am, I guess.
All right. Top of the round, that is Molly.
We handoff complete. All right, so I am going to get up. I'm going to cast Healing Word on Chirrup.
Thank you.
The word is bird.
Bird. Bird is the word.
Oh yeah, feel the power of the proletariat. All right, and then I'm going to turn to this big bad wolf, and I am going to hit him.
No, you won't. You swing wide with your mace, unfortunately.
Oh well.
Are you not proficient in? Oh, you just have a really bad strength mod.
I just have a really bad strength mod. Yeah,
Strength is her dump stat.
Yeah, it is.
Don't you have an attacking cantrip?
Sacred Flame, but...
All right. Any movement, Molly? You've got 15 feet left.
Yeah, he's going to get an attack of opportunity, though, if I do. So I will stay here.
All right. The good doctor.
All right. So hopefully people can actually see this line I'm drawing here.
We can.
Cool. So unfortunately, Chirp is in that line, which kind of sucks. Unless,
Up a little more.
No. Would this line hit all 3 wolves?
It looked like it was just catching.
Yeah,
that once. Yeah, so I think so.
Okay. I just need to look here.
I have no
Damn.
idea what he's doing, but this is going to be exciting when he reveals it.
Well, I assume that there are small enough pieces of debris that I can catapult along that line. So catapult.
All right.
So each one in turn has to give me a dexterity save, and if they fail, they're the only ones who take the damage.
All right.
DC
First
13.
wolf, natural 1. This guy fails immediately.
14 damage.
14. Chirrup, you see a rock blast against the side of this wolf's head, and it just collapses on top of you.
And then,
Chirp gives a thumbs up.
actually, employing the little intelligence I have, is going to back up 20 feet to here and just sort of catch my breath. That is my turn.
I have never gotten catapult to work.
Yeah.
I think that was
it was perfectly set up because it was a straight line.
Yeah.
If it misses one, it goes to the next one, and then it goes to the next one.
That was Flocklin's problem. He'd always target one creature with it.
Yeah.
All right. This guy is going to leap forward towards Maximilian, who's going after one of its cubs. Great boss. Seymour and Molly will all get attacks of opportunity.
Can I Eldritch Blast as an attack of opportunity? No.
No.
Right?
Not without a feat.
Ooh, Great Paw! All right.
People!
How? 0 piercing.
Molly, don't let us down.
Even the damage was only a 2 out of 10.
Great Paw, you miss your attack as you gaze upon the chaos of battle, causing your confidence to falter. You have disadvantage on your next attack roll against any target.
Ian, what's your dexterity modifier?
Oh boy.
Yeah, your dagger's using strength.
I mean, it can use strength, but if you have a
No.
good dex,
It's the
use
same.
that.
No, it's
Did
the
you
same.
go 888?
No, I didn't go 888. I went 8813.
All right. Molly, your attack of opportunity, please.
Right, his AC is
Right.
10.
Wow.
And an 8, unfortunately, does not connect either. Seymour, you just give it scritches with the dagger.
There's no minimum 1 damage with damage, right? It can go negative.
Well, it can't go negative, but
That's
you
the
can
one
do
rule
0.
that they've never actually clarified. Is there a minimum of 1? Except on unarmed strikes, where they said, yeah, it is 1 minus your modifier.
Maximilian, the wolf's jaws grab around your arm, but cannot get through your armor. That is an 11.
All right, I smash my shield into his head.
All right, and it is going to just rotate around you with its movement and is just sort of growling and snarling. Chirrup.
Who's looking worse, mama or baby?
Mama. Actually, that's not true. I mean, the smaller wolf just has less health, so. But the big wolf is bloodied.
All right, I am small. Can I fit here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do what I did before, and I'm just going to Thunder Wave. So then it'll catch mama and baby. Or wait, I have to be in the center of it, don't I?
No, you can set,
Boom.
where the edge sort of goes. Yep. All right.
Like that, trying to push them away from Max.
That is an 11 from the Direwolf. It fails again.
Excellent.
And pushed 10 feet. Let's see. Maximilian, give me a dexterity save as this wolf gets thrown into you.
Oh no, it was supposed to be going this way.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, that gets blasted. Oh, the other wolf fails with an 8 as well. That one, its body flies and just lands with a heavy thump on the ground.
That was there, so we'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 for my movement, and then that's it for me, and I will be right back again, sorry.
Yeah, so there are 2 massive crashes of thunder. All of your ears are ringing, but this wolf has been blown back 10 feet. That takes us to Haboob.
And no one's next to it.
Correct.
You could hold your action.
I could do that. I'm gonna first make sure I'm in a safe spot. Behind the meat shield, Molly. Bow and arrow shot ready to shoot alongside whoever the next player is that successfully attacks this creature.
All right. That should be Greypaw. You are still raging. You do have disadvantage on this attack, though.
Actually, I'm going to change them a little bit. I'm going to end up here with 20 feet.
All right. Haboob, your held action goes off.
Oh, nice!
Critical hit!
Oh, please let me turn on my sneak attack.
Oh, we're doing critical hits and critical fumbles, right?
Yeah. Let
10,
me.
no,
I don't have the
11.
I don't have the critical hits set up right now.
11 right there.
Yeah, that is more than enough to finish it off. So Greypaw, you come running up, feeling a little unconfident from your last sort of mishap. And as you raise your hammer, just this whistling sort of slides past you, and Haboob's arrow strikes the dire wolf, and it collapses to the ground in front of you even before your hammer can strike.
Oh, it wasn't going to be a hammer. It was going to be a flying kick.
Oh, then yeah, as you leap through the air with a flying kick, the wolf just sort of lands, and you fly over top of it and land on the other side.
I look at
Greypaw and I go,
This tabaxi calls dibs.
That takes us out of combat as you have taken down these 3 wolves in their home.
Yep. Invaded their home, killed them. Exactly like civilized people do.
Yeah,
I
and
try to communicate with them.
you can see with your light, and as you are sort of getting closer, there does appear to be a small passageway here in the center of this rubble that clearly leads to their den.
All right. I'm going to sort of wait until Dr. Eisen sort of stumbles towards me, and then I'm going to put my hand on her shoulder and say, okay, this is the second time I've ever done this, and give you 5 points of healing.
Thank you.
I only have 1 spell left for today, so I'm going to save it. But everyone is stable and okay. All right.
Shine the light into the wolf den. What do we see?
All right. Shining the light in, you can see that the far side is filled with more irregular piles of rubble, as do, what appear to be hundreds of bones and bone fragments just staring straight ahead, but you cannot see off to the sides of it.
What is it? It'd be perception to listen or smell for anything still alive in there?
Correct.
Oof.
Doesn't, it smells of sort of, fur and animals, but you don't pick up any sounds or noise of anything inside.
Max, hold my feet and be ready to pull me out just in case.
All right. I will grab the back of Seymour's jacket or armor, and
I think I have to crawl in, so you might just have to yank me by my. Oh, I guess it was large size. Yeah, so we should be able to crouch in.
I'll walk him in like like a vice principal taking an unruly student to the principal's office.
All right. As you poke your head in, Seymour, you can see that there are large piles of rubble to the left and the right, but there are, things sort of buried inside.
That's the investigation check for when I go in.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, you go in. There are no animals left in here. In the northern half, you find an old leather backpack, sort of half buried under what are clearly humanoid bones. And inside, you find an elaborate lantern of indigo metal inset with indigo glass panes.
Ooh, could you check if this is magic, Doctor?
And on the other side of the room, you find a beautifully carved armband, unmistakably made of elven craftsmanship, bearing a repeated leaf motif. And you also pick out of the rubble what appears to be the marble index finger, probably cracked off a statue.
Doc, anything magic?
9.5 minutes later. Well, any magic?
And one round.
I'm assuming it took you time to pull it out and bring it back here.
Yeah, after the 10 minutes, nope, it is not giving off any magic.
So none of it at all?
Neither the lamp nor the armband?
Correct.
Would the lamp have been used as a signaling device, to the best of my knowledge?
There was an indigo base or something on the fresco, I think.
Yeah, so there was a green lantern up at the... Are those lanterns the lights?
You stroll back to the other side of the room, and
I take the marble finger with me as well.
okay, yeah, clear from as soon as you stand in the center of the raised platform on the other side.
Well, I don't think we're going on it that fast, I say as he walks up.
Yeah, clearly the walls, the fresco on the walls, make it look like you are standing within a massive room with 7 short hallways radiating out from a central point. A chain dangles from the ceiling at the end of each hallway, and each chain bears a gleaming colored lantern. Clockwise, the colors are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet.
Is there a lantern hanging at the end of indigo?
In this painting, yes. I mean, this is a fresco that
Oh, it's a painting, so it's not
spans
that
across
great.
those walls. Correct.
So, okay, does the lantern look functionable?
It does.
I will suggest we light the lantern and look at the various frescoes.
Okay, we light the lantern.
I mean, it's quite large, but I mean, easily enough for Greypaw to hold it up, and it is lit. It gives off a beautiful indigo light. Nothing changes in the frescoes itself, though. You do notice. I mean, Seymour and everybody else. It's you pick it up first, but in this fresco, all the lanterns in this vista that you are looking at, they are all lit. And it's a bit faded, but it is in remarkably good shape for its clearly advanced age.
So there's a hallway, and at the end of the hallway, there's a chain with a lantern hanging off it. Does that lantern look like our lantern?
Yes.
Okay. So there's lanterns at the end of a hall. Is there anything else? Is it just like the painting is just like a stone hallway?
Each lantern is in its own hallway. Like as you so but yes, it is just it appears you are in the center of this room with hallways radiating off of it and lit lanterns hanging from chains at the end of each of these hallways.
With the light shining on the indigo one, I'm going to gently tap the painting to make sure it's solid.
It is solid. And as you spend more time in this area, the whispering voices just raise and raise in volume till they almost become like a cacophony of sound and noise.
You guys okay in there?
What?
Highly confused.
5 feet away.
Can't hear you. What?
Is there any writing on the frescoes? Or the lamp?
None that you can see.
You were going to say read. You wanted to say read.
No, none that you can see. I will say, Seymour, you have certainly noticed walking sort of back and forth past this area that the passageway seems to continue onwards beyond this sort of massive wall of cobwebs.
Yeah. We'll find stuff further up.
I will suggest we burn away the cobwebs.
Okay, perhaps. I got a question though. You say that there's green light here. The light that's coming out of the alcove of the frescoes, is that green? Is that white? What is that? Or is that just like it looks like it's lit?
It's lit just to allow you guys to see the colors properly.
Okay, so there's only one lit hallway, and that's the one with the green light coming out behind there.
Yeah, in the fresco itself, all of the lanterns are lit. I just had to put light there so you guys could see it.
See the nice, beautiful colors.
Yep.
Very nice. All right, yeah. Okay, so I will I'll put my sword away, take the lantern, or the if Greypaw wants to go burn away the webs, we can do that, or we can cut the webs.
I look at my hammer
I've got a sword.
Greypaw has a lit torch.
And he's got a lit
Yes. I will hold up the torch and start burning away the webs.
Yeah, I would have suggested not breaking the tension. In theory, burning them away would cause them to more evaporate than vibrate, which could signal anything that might be living within them. Whereas burning them will just cause them to eventually catch on fire.
Yeah, they burn and, head down a wide staircase.
Oh. All right. So we've got the frescoes. That may or may not be something that tells us what to do later. So, all right.
Check for traps.
Please do.
I didn't.
Because I don't want to slide down the happy fun slide.
No sign of traps, Seymour. And as you start walking down this large 20-foot wide staircase, the air continues to be a little bit stale, but it's dry. You don't get any sense of moisture or wetness down here. And as you make your way down the stairs...
Haven't yet. Well, Max did, I guess. Shit.
Yeah, well, Max, you notice just as you take the first few steps down the stairs, the whispers are decreasing in volume.
Well, yeah, we are getting away from the walls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And clearly, the walls in this staircase don't seem to have the same holes bored into them, so therefore the whispers are not following.
Excellent.
I guess off we go. And we're not worried about this seam right here. It looks weird.
That looks just fine to me.
It looks like a repeating pattern for the stairs.
Alright, we're going down.
We're going down, but also we're descending the stairs.
I don't think there's a load screen. I think we actually have to move our tokens down the stairs.
Correct.
We're only about halfway through the height of this map, guys.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay.
Alright, so we get to the first landing. It's because it's free, it's cheap. Damn, that's the first time. And if I have a
still does not appear to be any traps.
Okay.
What are the odds traps would still function after this much time?
Pretty good.
What are the odds that you'd be able to grapple something?
They should be pretty good.
Somewhere a dwarf heard that and went, "How dare you, sir?" And making your way to the bottom of these stairs, your light shows that you are standing at the edge of an immense domed chamber. And you see short tunnels branch from the room in a variety of directions. And at the far end of the room, you see what is casting the green light is a green lantern at the far end hanging from a chain, but the light is kind of flickering and sputtering inside of it. And in the center, you see what appears to be a marble sarcophagus beneath the dome's central peak. And you see a milky white bas-relief figure, perhaps of a human, rest passively upon the sarcophagus lid. And unlike the rest of the tomb, this room is completely silent.
Like eerily silent?
After the whispering, yeah, it is. But yeah.
Sarcophagus. God, that's pissing me off.
Sarcophagus.
Inspiration.
Aha. Spelling!
So yes, you can see this room has, this massive domed roof. And as you move further in, you can see there are 7 short tunnels branching off, seemingly extending about 30 feet before ending in sort of rounded walls. And, of the ones... Actually, from what you can see, you aren't far enough into the room to make out much more than that.
All right. So I do remember the order.
And so you can see as your torchlight and lantern light allows you now, at the terminus of each passage, you see a thick chain dangles from a high unseen ceiling. 5 of the chains bear colorful lanterns, but 2 are empty. Opposite the entry stairs, this bright green lantern containing what looks like, I don't know, could be a torch the way it's sputtering, casts a weird murky light throughout the room. And looking up, you can see countless chips of glass and shiny metal inset into the chamber's domed ceiling reflect the light, giving the impression of starlight or falling snow. The dome starts about 10 feet off the ground and reaches an apex about 30 feet over the center of the room. And yeah, under this apex, you see this large marble sarcophagus with the white figure atop it.
Okay, and that's just a carving of the lid, right?
Yes, it's just a bas-relief carving.
Okay.
That is what you see on it.
All right. So
Any magic?
Any words?
No magic. No words, but you do see another sigil carved. It looks like a giant scarab around its throat as some sort of necklace. I mean, it's a white stone relief of a very tall figure cloaked in a simple garment of flowing cloth. And, I mean, the outfit conjures thoughts of, clearly ancient times. And, appears to be human.
But, sorry, what did you say the symbol was? It was a sarcophagus, has a scarab what?
You can see in the image, he's wearing what appears to be like a necklace that has looks like a scarab. And it is inscribed with, another arcane glyph. You can give me a history or arcana check if you want to try and figure out what that glyph could possibly be.
Well, for me, it's the same.
Could I try?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, can
It
I have
is-
a guidance, Steph?
It is far too late for that. So yeah, no, doesn't mean anything to you. You recognize again, Seymour, that this is clearly someone's personal sigil, but doesn't bring anything up.
The local with the 17, would I recognize it?
No, this is not local at all. This is clearly an ancient glyph of some sort.
Yeah. The lantern. It's currently glowing. What do I see inside it?
The only one that is currently lit up is the green one here at the far end.
Oh, it's at the end. I thought it was on the sarcophagus.
Nope. This lantern has like a sputtering light that's coming in, and it's reflecting off the ceiling. So that's why it looks like the whole room is kind of bathed in the green light.
Okay, sorry. So 7 hallways, lanterns at the end, the colors.
2 that are missing.
Which ones are missing?
It appears that the red lantern is missing, and the indigo lantern is missing.
Well, we've solved that problem. We've solved that mystery. Now for the red lantern.
Well, should we put the indigo one back?
Maybe?
And relight the green one? And relight the other ones that are out? Because the other ones are out, correct?
Currently only the green one is lit.
So we need to light them all.
I will come over here and inspect this one. Does it appear to have oil?
It is dry. You think you could, put a torch or something inside it to get it going, or some fresh oil.
I don't exactly have oil on me, but I do have a torch, which I do not necessarily need, so I will issue a torch to it that is lit.
All right. And you light it, and, it allows you to see that in front of you, sort of buried at the far end of the wall, is what appears to be a skeleton lying in a heap.
Analyzing the skeleton, can I get a rough estimate of what caused its fall? Does it look like it was...
Give me a medicine check.
Yeah, I'm decent at these. Yeah.
Yeah, it clearly fell from a good distance as, you find several crushed bones. And looking up, you can see the edge of the roof here at the top of your torch is still dark. It appears that the ceiling goes further than the torchlight currently allows. And with your dark vision, you can see that it seems to end after about 50 or so feet. But there is just,
So it's a straight shaft with no obvious protrusions off of it?
Correct. Clearly, the lantern is hanging from a chain about, 50 or so feet up.
I will call over Haboob, and I will ask him if he would be willing to climb the chain, assuming it is strong enough to support his weight.
Haboob of the Red Sands?
Yes, because he has a climb speed, because he's a tabaxi. I am a master. I'm a studier of anatomy. This is things I would understand. And I would ask if he would be willing to go up and check, because I have the feeling, my assumption right now, based on the fact that this guy died from falling, is that he climbed up there for some reason and slipped and fell off. So I would warn him that that is a possible ending, but there's people around here to help him should that be his fate.
Haboob says, "Yeah, this tabaxi will comply," and I will slowly climb up as the good doctor points out that if this person had slipped, did they slip because they got a little bit careless, or did it get slippery when the higher they got? So I'm just going to climb very slowly all the way up.
All right, you start climbing and making your way up this chain. It easily holds your weight, and as that is happening, Seymour, your attention gets drawn back to the sarcophagus. It appears that the sarcophagus itself has some kind of arrow shape to it.
Like we're seeing that from the light, or?
Just the general shape. You can see that on top of this marble platform, the sarcophagus appears to be, you can see how it has a pointed top.
That's the top? I thought that was a shadow.
How tall is the platform?
The platform is about 2 feet, and then the sarcophagus rests on top of that. And Haboob, as you climb about 40 feet up, you see that there is a passageway carved into the wall that continues on.
Is the passageway on this side, or
On
which
this side, so you're 40 feet up and then just continues on that way. But as you're staring off into the darkness, your dark vision does not allow you to see the end of whatever hallway this is.
What color lamp was that one that they climb?
That one is blue that they are climbing, and currently you can see that this is the orange lantern that is still unlit down at the end of this hallway. But with the discovery of that passageway up into the wall, that is where we will leave it for the night.
Ooh.
All right.
So this is a multi-part puzzle. We're gonna have to start with lighting the orange lamp and then doing things.
So I would suggest we don't leave this room until we have at least lit all of them and see if it gives us more clues. Assuming someone has pointed out the fact that there is now an arrow on that thing.
Yeah, I thought that was just a shadow.
I mean, I point out to Dr. Eisen and Greypaw that there's a passage over here before we end it.
All right. And with that, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Kane Phoenix, for watching. Catch us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Yeah, so you can see